Hi there, welcome to Crunchy Fingers. You're not gonna be seeing my face, but you're gonna be seeing my hands a lot. This is the first video that we have with sound, or at least with voice. The two previous videos, it was also me painting, but just kind of capturing the soundscapes of painting. And you might be wondering why am I here painting and what we're gonna do today. Well, the purpose of this channel is mostly that me and Jimmy, we are going to be sharing things that we're passionate about, and you are going to see a lot of things coming up. But one thing that I'm passionate about is painting, and it's colors in particular. So we thought that now with the coronavirus, we are stuck at home quite a lot. I had a lot of time to explore and play with the colors because I love it. Um, so yeah, what I'm gonna do today is just a simple swatching, actually, nothing complicated, but I wanted to do it because one of the things I love is just that colors exist. So what we're gonna be doing is taking this palette, a custom made palette I have done of Sennelier watercolors in pans, and we are going to be swatching the colors here, and that's the first step of any watercolor journey, is to get to learn and know your colors. So for that we need a couple of things. We need water, obviously, and I always like to have two glasses of water. One that I call it the dirty water, I'm gonna use it to just clean the brushes as it comes, and one with clean water because we don't want to make our beautiful colors dirty because the water here where we clean our brushes is dirty. So always before going into a new color, we go through clean water. We are also going to have a palette here. This one here uses a little bit dirty, so I don't want to use it. I'm going to use this ceramic palette, which I love. And of course a paper towel, always a paper towel to dab your brush and get it a little bit less full of water and a little bit more thirsty. We'll talk about that. And I have my trusty travel watercolor brushes, which I love. They are supposedly for travel, but I use them at home a lot too because they are like really good and they are very handy to have. And also I love this little pouch they come in. Some watercolor paper, not a specifically really good quality because we're just gonna be swatching colors. And I have my little trusty Danshun here that I use to put my brushes, so I never leave them on the water, always here if I need to leave them somewhere when I'm not using them. Yeah, so I guess let's go for it. I always put a little bit of water in my watercolor pans first so they get a little bit wet before we start swatching them. Like that. And then we can go ahead and take the bigger of the brushes. That's a round brush number 8, which if it has a good point like this one have, you can see here what a good point it has. It can be used for a lot of things because you can use the body of the brush to go very flat and a lot of surface, or you can use the very tip of the brush for very fine lines. So it's a very versatile brush, and I recommend anybody going into watercolors to just use a round brush. Number 6, number 8, it should give you for a lot. You don't need a lot of material. It says the person that gathers a lot of material because I love colors and I have a lot of different watercolors. So as I say, yeah, let's just start swatching, sorry. A little bit of water in the pencil, and what we're gonna do is to grab a little bit of paint and dab it in the beginning. And what we want to do is to see how the paint behaves from very thick, a lot of paint, to being very watery down and very transparent and more a lighter hue of the color. So what I like to do is to grab a lot of paint, put it in a blotch like this, then I go and clean the brush, go into clean water always, and then with clean water in it, a little bit wet, we go from the opposite side. So you go from painting with water only to then touching on the color. So then what we get with that, it's a transition from having a lot of we got a transition from having a lot of paint to having less paint and very transparent. And like that. This is, we're gonna write the colors later, but this is primary lemon yellow, which is a cool yellow, we call it. And then we go for the next one, which is a more warm yellow, which is a primary yellow called in the Sennelier line of colors. As you can see here, exactly. Then we see how it moves into a transparency. So beautiful. I just love looking at the colors, how they move, how they blend. We're not doing any blending today, but very nice. Then we are going to the next one, which I've decided to put in my palette something that could be even, it can work as a yellow, it can work as a orange. It's actually Quinacridone gold, and you can call it like a very warm yellow or warm orange. It has some tones of red in it. When we say that a color is either cool or warm, what it means is that it has a more bluish hue or a more reddish hue. So all colors can tend to bluish or to reddish. Maybe one day we'll go into color theory, which is super interesting. Very nice here, color swatch. Now we're gonna go for this first red, which is a warm red. It's French Vermillion. It's a beautiful, beautiful red color. You are gonna hear me to say beautiful a lot because I really like colors. I do think they're beautiful, and the amount of things we can do with them is amazing. And that we can see so many colors, it baffles me every single time. And now we're gonna go for a cold red, which is what we know as magenta as well, as you can see here. And this is Carmine is the name of this color. Very beautiful. Look at this. So cool. Let's put some more here on the top so we can see really how much this color is vibrant, super vibrant. Very nice. And then I have decided to put in my palette also a violet purple color, which it's super, super dense. Like I'm always amazed how much amount of pigment it picks up. This one is Dioxacine purple. It's the name of it. In case you're interested, I'm getting the same colors. Look at that. It's so cool. Yeah. And now, yeah, we have two yellows, one yellow orange, two reds, one purple. And then now we're gonna move into the other colors, which we have green here, one green. This. Remember, dirty water, clean water, dab a bit, because we don't have a lot of water. That water management and color management in watercolors, it's an art, and I still am figuring it out. But with more practice, you get a feel for how much water you need to have in your brush to get the effect you want. Beautiful. And we have here another green. Yeah, this one is a warmer green, this one is a cooler green. Beautiful. Super nice. I love it. Sometimes I just do color swatches. I don't even paint anything. I just go and try the colors I have, or do mixes and see how they behave. And now we're moving on to the blues. So we have a, oh, I forgot to say, this one is sap green, and this one is phthalo green light hue from the Sennelier. Of course, I'll leave all the names and the description in the box below. Look how they move. Actually, one thing that is especially different about these watercolors, which are the Sennelier watercolors, French brand, is that the binding, so how the watercolor is made is basically a pigment, and then there's a binder that keeps the pigment together. Depending what that binder is, you're going to have different type of colors, right? In oil painting, that binder is oil. In watercolor is something that is water soluble, and it generally, in a lot of watercolor, the binder is gum arabica, but this one Sennelier, they actually use also honey, and the honey used as a binder gives them a super fluidity, a very nice fluidity, and a very cool flow when you are working with them, and they really are beautifully blending and moving in the paper and with the water. So you can actually feel it when you are swatching them already. They are very creamy and very nice to work with. Here we had the first blue, which is a warm blue. It's French Ultramarine, which probably you have heard of it. It's a pretty popular color, and it's of course present in all the watercolor brands that you had out there. And this one, it's a cooler blue, also lighter, which is Cinerous blue. It's a very nice sky blue, baby blue if you want. And then we are moving to two colors that are convenience colors, kind of. One is a brown, here. Nice. And one is black, or actually not black, it's Payne's gray, so it's a gray. And Payne's gray, there are a lot of different Payne grays in different brands, and they might have different slight colors depending on the brand. Winsor & Newton has a Payne's gray as well, and they might differ a little bit because they might be made of different pigments, and we're going to talk about pigments in a little while now when I'm going to write the names, and we can talk a little bit about what are they made of. This color, I love it. I love it for painting galaxies. I love it for making shadows, and in general, it's very versatile. If you want to use it super thick, it gets really, really dark and very like deep dark. But if you want to use it lightly, you can use it to make shadows and with a lot of water, and it works really, really nicely. There, perfect. So these are the Sennelier palette that I made. It was a custom made palette. That means there is not a set that you can buy with these colors, but you can choose from the whole range of colors that they have, and then I selected these ones because I wanted to have a cold and warm of all the primaries. So the primaries would be yellow, red, and blue. That means that with those three colors you can make all the colors in the color wheel, but I wanted to have a warm and a cold one of each one of them. So cold, warm, warm, cold, cold, warm, or the other way around, because how they mix to make the other colors is slightly different, and we can go into color mixing, as I said, another day because it's quite long, so it could be for another video. So these are the swatches, and actually here you can see here, I don't know if you can see here, but then you can see that when I get closer later in the video, there are watercolor blooms. That means that there is more water in one side than the other. That can be fixed before it dries by moving pigment around. But that happens when the paper is not perhaps that good, or you are using way too much water in your brush, like I was saying. So as I say, I'm still figuring this out, but learning by doing, little by little. And I hope you are too. That's why I guess you are here seeing this video, because you're interested in watercolors and Sennelier watercolors perhaps. And yeah, I will now write the colors of this set. So we start here because we're leaving time for it to dry. So here we have sap green, and this is made of actually two pigments, PB29 and PY 153. So as I say, greens normally come from a mix of blue and yellow. That's how you make green. So this one has this particular blue pigment and this particular yellow pigment, and that's how watercolors are made. You will see the higher, most expensive watercolors are single pigment because it's a lot of one pigment that is very good quality, and normally the cheaper watercolors are going to be mixes of pigments or having some fillers. So maybe when you're looking into what watercolors to buy, check what is actually the pigments that the watercolors are made of. And this is very important also when you're looking for a specific color, because different brands might call it the same, but they actually might not look exactly the same later. This one, as I say, is Phthalo green light, and this one is made of PG7. So this is actually a pigment that is in nature that is green by itself, and PY153. So again, this same yellow pigment. Then we have here French Ultramarine, which is made of PB29 and PV15. And then we have here Cinerous blue, which is made of PB15:3 and PW4, which is a white, so it's a blue pigment with a little bit of a white pigment. Here we have burnt umber, which is PBR7, that's brown pigment. And this is actually super interesting pigment because you can actually find it raw umber, and burnt umber has the same pigment, but they look different because the pigment has been treated differently. So it's super cool and super interesting. And here we have Sennelier Payne's gray, which it has PB19, PB15:1, and PBK7, which is black pigment, blue pigment, and violet pigment. So that's why it's this very rich color, because it has these three pigments. And now we're gonna go here on the upper row. As I say, we have primary yellow, which is made of PY3, so it's single pigment one. Here we have, oh sorry, this was lemon yellow. Here we have primary yellow, which is PY74. Then here we have Quinacridone gold, which is made of three pigments actually, PR101, PY150, and PR206. So as you can see, it has two reds and one yellow color. Here we have French Vermillion, a warm red, that has PR242, so a single pigment red. Then here we have Carmine, I don't know exactly how one's pronounced, and it has PV19. So PVs are the magentas ones. And then here we have magenta to violet. And then here we have the Dioxacine purple, that is PV23. So as you can see here, we have a range of mixes, like for example, Payne's gray, Cinerous blue, Phthalo green, sap green, Quinacridone gold are mixes of different pigments. But you have also a series of just single pigment colors, which will be lemon yellow, primary yellow, Carmine, Dioxacine purple, the burnt umber as well. So of course, go ahead and just get the colors that you think you like. Buying single pigment is always better when you are looking for something transparent and high quality. But go ahead, and also I love some of the mixes, like as I say, the Payne's gray and the Quinacridone gold. They're beautiful colors and they also mix really well. Yeah, I hope you enjoy going through my Sennelier collection. These ones I really like to make landscapes with vibrant colors, are very, very cool. You can of course work with them and mix them to get something more toned down, but as colors as they are, they're super vibrant and nice. And another day maybe we can go through some of my other favorites. I have some Russian paints, I have some English paints, these are French paints, and they all behave in a different way. And of course you don't need a lot of different ones when you're starting. You need to get to learn how to mix them, how to work with the water and the pigment. That's the most important thing. But if you like colors like I do, then you can dwell into the magical world of watercolors and pigments. And if you like this video, of course comment, tell us why you like it, if you would like to see more of the same thing, and subscribe to our channel. There, down there, no, up, down. And I hope to see you back in our next video. Bye.